Get this figure and more at the Big Bad Toy Store. Links in the description. Today's a good day. Hey, my name is Jobby, and today we're taking a look at the S.H. Monsterarts 2002 Godzilla. And this version of Godzilla comes from the movie Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and he also appeared in Tokyo SOS. And guess what? I've never seen any of them. But even then, this version of Godzilla is almost my favorite Godzilla design. He's basically just an updated version of the Godzilla 2000 design, which is my actual favorite, just without those purple spines that I kinda miss. With all of that being said, this is a toy review, right? So the main question is, does the S.H. Monsterarts version do this awesome design justice? Well, let me put it this way, and you longtime subscribers will understand. I've ordered it. The painting and the sculpting on this figure is awesome. Most of the figure is covered in this charcoal black paint, but there are subtle green highlights. So subtle, in fact, that you could barely even see them. Do you catch it? The subtlety of that green paint makes the finish of the figure flat overall, but the flatness of the paint job is made up for with this insane level of sculpted detail, as any good S.H. Monsterarts figure should have. But if you really wanted some variations in values, you art snob, the toenails on the figure have a noticeable gradation that looks very nice, and kind of an interesting decision on Bandai's part to make the toenails look really good, and to make the hand nails completely bullshit. Not only is the paint from the nail bleeding onto the finger, but it has no shading at all. It looks completely flat. Disgusting. The spines at the end of the tail have a similar issue. I mean, some of these spines are not painted at all, but as you keep going up the main body, the spines get more painted, and man, one of my favorite aspects of this design, the wicked looking spine shapes. The spine design, try saying that 5 times fast, complements this noticeably slimmer Godzilla, making him look more reptilian and menacing. Really, the only downside that I could find to this look? No more thick thighs. But nowadays, the definition of thick is so flexible that it probably doesn't even matter, right? And besides the spines and the lack of thickness, something that always stood out to me about this design is the weirdly shaped neck. It looks great, don't get me wrong, but I always thought that if you were to remove this head, isolate it a bit, he'd look kind of like a caterpillar with Godzilla's head pasted on it. Is it just me? He's even got the little legs for it. I'm not crazy. And at the end of the caterpillar, you get this lean and intimidating head sculpt. And unlike a lot of other Godzilla figures that I reviewed on this channel, this guy's head sculpt actually looks pretty good from the front, but his eyes are still kind of retarded. And while we're here, we do get a ball joint at the mouth that allows him to open up really wide. You could even move the tongue if you have the right tools for it, because the tongue is on a hinge joint. Fuck. And this ball jointed jaw feels pretty nice and tight, just like all the other ball joints of the figure. Nothing pops off easily. The closest thing to a piece popping off easily is the tip of the tail, but even then you do have to try for it. And come on, in terms of S.H. Monsterarts bullshit, nothing's gonna beat this or this. The tight and solid joints makes it very satisfying to hold. Just be careful when you're handling this thing, because all these little spines on the main body are ah shit, they're sharp. So far so good, right? But this guy does have a major downside. No accessories at all. At least you can use the atomic breath part from the Godzilla 1995. This guy's mouth opens wide enough to take it. No accessories? No problem. At least you get a good amount of posability. Ball joint at the head. And please note that every ball joint can be a swivel, because if I point out every swivel that's on this guy, we'll be here forever. Can look up and down. There is a ball joint here, but it's pretty much useless. The head does all the work. Ball joint at the shoulder, which allows for rotation. It also allows the arm to move out. Ball joint at the elbow, which allows it to bend. Ball joint at the wrist. Ball joint at the chest and the waist. Allows for an arcing back and a crunch. And even with all the spines on the back, you still can do some of that. The ball joints also allow for some side to side. Ball joint at the hips also allows for rotation. Can't move back that far. Decent spread. There's no real thigh swivel here, but that ball joint at the hip allows you to simulate one. Bend at the knee. Ball joint at the calf. And a ball joint at the ankle, which allows for a pivot. Posability on this figure is great, but the tail is... All these tight ball joints can hold some amazingly organic looking poses. It's so smooth that you could barely tell that it's segmented. And each segment on the tail is a ball joint here, ball joint here, ball joint here, ball joint here. From the base of the tail, I count at least 22 segments. And the tail is not floppy at all, despite it being very long. And speaking of size, this figure is smaller than I would have expected. Here's Mataga in Prime, S.H Monsterarts Godzilla, 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 and S.H Monsterarts Godzilla. And while this figure does look good next to the other versions of Godzilla, he will look even better next to the S.H Monsterarts Kiryu, if I had one. But for now, this mini Kiryu will have to do. With all the S.H Monsterarts Godzilla figures that I've reviewed in the past, my standard for them has become clear to me. They've gotta have above average painting and sculpting, good posability, and solid joints. And guess what? This guy meets all of that criteria. He's amazing. But accessories would have been nice, especially for the price you find him at the Big Bad Toy Store. He is an amazing addition to the S.H Monsterarts line, but with the lack of accessories, that's a bit pricey. If you don't have an S.H Monsterarts Godzilla and you at least want one, this is a good pick to get. Otherwise, get him if you're a completionist, which I don't consider myself as, despite what my reviews would tell you. I'm totally not obsessed with this big green idiot.
Actually, he's black.
Well, big black idiot doesn't sound too good, does it? So if you like this video, give me a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe for more frequent but still spaced out Godzilla reviews in the future. At this rate, I might get to the highly requested one sooner than you think. And now, if we could just start up that music. You know, the last Godzilla figure that I reviewed didn't deserve the musical treatment. This guy, however, I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to want the love. Someone out there is getting off to this. So for the next review, I'll be taking off the classic mask because you don't understand how uncomfortable this is sometimes.